Welcome back to Music Theory Logic. Andrew here, and in addition to showing you specific techniques of making music and where notes come from and music theory stuff, I like to talk about things that are experiences or stuff that I'm thinking about in my whole day-to-day doing this music stuff. And this really occurred to me a couple years ago. I remember talking to one of my coworkers or somebody I worked with at a recording studio who went on to Los Angeles and was working for another recording studio up there, and the record label Cash Money Records, who most people are familiar with, like for Lil Wayne or Nicki Minaj. You might even be familiar with sort of the old like lineup of Cash Money Records. But anyway, my friend's at the studio. Cash Money is blacking it out. That means all the artists he's working for have some relationship to that record label. And he tells me, I'm working for this artist. I'm not going to say the specific name of the artist because I haven't asked to divulge information. But let's just say that first of all, I had not heard of this artist. He tells me it like I should know who this person is, and perhaps I should. But basically, I look up this artist and I see he's got like 7 million followers on Instagram and millions of listeners a month on Spotify. I'm like, well, wait a second. I don't 100% work in hip hop and rap music, but I've recorded a lot of rappers. I've licensed and sold a lot of beats to rappers, and I like that world of music. But it's just fascinating that doing this day in, day out, this is the only thing I do besides making YouTube videos, teaching lessons, and making instrumentals, whether on video or for my artist aliases or publishers. This is literally all I do. And I was under the illusion that if an artist was big enough that I would know who they were. And I realized through that experience that was not the case. And there's been a lot of things like this where something like this last weekend, we're in like week 2 of the NFL. Once upon a time, I'm from San Diego. Once upon a time, I was a huge Chargers fan, watched football. I have since switched teams, and I have a good friend of mine who called me and asked me if I wanted to watch the game. And I was like, well, I knew the league had started, but I didn't really know. I don't think I've seen a single ad for NFL stuff in like my world. So like the websites I'm on or the social media I use. And it's just fascinating how many different lanes of culture there are, hence the splintering. So I really believe that the world is never going to go back to the way that we knew it. So once upon a time, pre-internet, we had only so many channels on TV, only so many newspapers in your city. There were limited ways that you could get information. So whether there was marketing of like a movie or sports franchise, things seemed bigger in that era, or there seemed like less things going on. There was kind of like one mainstream, where if you talked to people born in 1985 or 1980 or 1988, like myself, or 92, that they had some sort of like similarity of experience based on their age. And I think that's really changing a lot. I teach some music, and I've taught more in my past, so I've been around a lot of different young aspiring musicians and people who are working hard at their instrument, and I will always ask them what kind of music they're listening to. And sometimes I get stuff that I'm expecting, but a lot of times I get things that I don't expect. That includes like vintage recordings, classic rock. That includes sort of like TikTok music, I would call it, that is super huge but outside of a world that I'm familiar with. And so basically, as entertainers, as musicians, as engineers, as actors or content creators or entrepreneurs, I think it's all really important for us to understand that one, culture is splintering, and two, it's not going to go back. And I want to leave you with kind of a positive spin on this. I think that when there were less outlets, less ways to get recordings out there, less recording studios, less record labels, that there was less opportunity for people out there that were doing things different or maybe against the grain. Nowadays, with the ease of technology for musicians, at least, like Logic Pro on an Apple computers are expensive, but Logic Pro is $180, and you can make music that you get a lot of money or notoriety from with just the stuff involved in that $180 and computer purchase. Or if you're on Fruity Loops, you can do that on a much more affordable laptop. And once again, you can make beats, you can upload the beats to the internet, you can start social media and connect with other people who like the music that you are making or also like the music you like. And I think for all of us, again, depending upon what you do in the world, it's really important to think about this. And I think that we're in a crazy time period where the world is changing so fast around us that we're not really even designed to process that. Most of us are, trying to pay our rent, pay our food, save money for the future. If you have a family, you're trying to spend time with your family. If you're conscious of the world, you're trying to stay up on what's going on in the world. And there's just so much information that's like impossible to be an expert on any one thing. And I take that to music. I don't think there's really anyone who's an expert on all the different types of music that people are listening to. There might be genre experts, but even in genres, like if you look at rap music and hip hop stuff, there's so many different styles of rap music. There's so many different labels, camps, imprints, festivals. So like one artist who I did a video for, Lost, which was NF featuring Hobson. NF, I think, is a really, really talented rapper. I know there's some crossover religious connection, like people thought he was a Christian rapper, and he might be a rapper who is Christian, but I don't think a lot of his music has that sort of baked into it. But I love that song Lost, and I'll ask other artists who like make beats or artists that rap or about that track, and like they won't have even heard it. Or certain people might be really known, like an A$AP Rocky or Tyler the Creator, but when I bring up a specific song, it's not the same thing that if I bring up a song from like the 90s and it was a high performing track, everyone in that style of music would know about it. So the positive message, I think, is that one, it doesn't matter what the supposed mainstream is doing. If you are really passionate about whatever it is that you do, chances are there are other people out there on the planet who feel the same way. It's a little challenging right now to connect with those people because of all of the noise, but I'm confident one of the cool things about these algorithms and AI is that I think that ultimately all these platforms, YouTube or Spotify, SoundCloud, like Instagram, all these platforms just want people to use it for as much time as possible, so that they can then make money on things like your data and your actual eyes in terms of advertising dollars. And so the YouTube is really amazing with this, that like if you watch 30 videos that you like, that you just looked up, and then you look at your homepage, it's really, really good at showing you recent stuff in the world of that. And I think that this is going to happen more and more and more. And I think Spotify is a little chaotic right now, and that there's playlists and there's companies that sell playlist promotion and stream promotion to artists, and it's hard to know what stuff is real and what's fake. And there's so much music coming out. I think it's like 30,000 songs a day, so much so that it's impossible for you to go through new music in your genre and find stuff that you like. But I think in the future, these computers will really help us to get through all of the different all of the amount of information, like the amount of songs, and find songs that we like. So let me know what you think about this. Do you think the culture is splintering? Do I have this wrong in some way? Does it matter at all? Yeah, are we in a simulation? Don't mean to go down that route. But anyway, I find this stuff really, really interesting because, like I said, myself teaching people how to make the music that they like, or helping artists to put out records that they're proud of, that they like, or making music for television or as an artist. I think it doesn't necessarily matter, but it's useful market information to know what is happening out there. And it's becoming more and more difficult to have a full grasp of what is happening everywhere in any individual market. So if you found this helpful, you would help me out a lot by subscribing to the channel. I do many different types of videos, and I thank you for subscribing if you do that. Once again, my name is Andrew. I will see you next time. Talk to you later.